Welcome back, Franchise Fit Podcast. In case you haven't heard, the name has changed. For 4 years plus, it was Ion Franchising. Now a more appropriate title, Franchise Fit Podcast. And I have an amazing franchisor today. I know what you might be thinking. I always have an amazing franchisor. I have people that I find are quite inspiring, have a great brand, and really a great opportunity for you. And this is one of those. Brad Coleman is the CEO and driving enthusiast with a brand called Safeway Driving.
Up next,
and just pretty much gutted everything but the actual driving curriculum and modernized it, put in TVs, created online curriculum, and just made it a place that you wouldn't expect when you're going to a driving school. We took a driving school and made it a premium experience, which has been great.
Yeah, well, nobody better than you, having gone 200 miles an hour, to understand how important it is to be safe and what could happen in the blink of an eye.
And with our system, which has been so good for 52 years, we get them in the car and we help them build these foundational skills that just change their life and take that anxiety away.
This episode is sponsored by SEO Samba. Empower your franchise with predictable results and AI-driven marketing. So welcome to the show, Brad.
Hey, Lance. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Brad, a NASCAR driver is now a franchisor, owner of a driving school. Is this ironic or not? I don't know.
Yeah, you could say it is. I don't think most people would correlate professional race car driver and then driving safe on the street. But what I like to tell people is, well, if you think about it, I've gone through tens of thousands of hours of training to be a race car driver, but a big part of being a race car driver and winning races is avoiding crashes and staying away from dangerous situations. So you learn a lot of skills and situational awareness that translates really well to creating safe drivers on the road. So it's actually a good fit.
So I have to ask, because you set yourself up for this, texting and driving, is that a good idea?
Oh, no, not at all. No, everyone's heard it. Usually when you got someone next to you doing it, you're not a fan of it and you'll say something about it, but there's a lot of people that think they can. I'm guilty of that in the past. When I was racing, I had a little bit too big of an ego. I'm like, man, I drive over 200 miles an hour. I'm a professional at this. I can do this. I used to text and drive. I'd drive with my knee and hold my phone and do it. And then there's one day I'm driving down I-77 in Charlotte, North Carolina, going 70, 75 miles an hour, texting and driving. I look up, traffic is stopped in front of me, probably 30 feet. There's no chance of me stopping. I used those skills that my ego had. I turned off the road and I was off-roading in a Dodge Charger, which they are not made to do. And I slid to a stop and I just sat there and I caught my breath. And that was the last time I have texted and driven ever. And I won't do it again. I'm terrified of it. And I will tell everybody I can that you can't do it. It's not possible.
Yeah, well, nobody better than you, having gone 200 miles an hour, to understand how important it is to be safe and what could happen in the blink of an eye. And this all started because you actually went to Safeway Driving, years ago as a student. This is crazy.
I did. I was already a professional race car driver when I was going through Safeway Driving to get my driver's license at 15. So I'm going through there and my first lesson, I get in and I set the seat. I get it low. I lean it back like I'm in a race car. And the instructor looks at me and goes, "Boy, what are you doing? You think you're a race car driver?" I'm like, "Well, actually, sir, I am." And it was okay. I got put in my place as I learned that there's a lot of skills you need to learn for driving on the street. A lot more than just car control or keeping the car just going in a straight line. There's a lot of situational awareness you got to learn. But I was a student and I'm a proud student of Safeway. I learned a lot that I still use today, of course. Went off and went into racing.
So you become a NASCAR driver for years. And at what point did you have an opportunity, and how did the opportunity come to you to buy Safeway? You knew the owner.
Yeah, it's a really cool full circle moment, NASCAR pun intended. So when you're a NASCAR driver, you have a lot of sponsors. You see some of them behind me that I've had in my career. And one of the big sponsors in the time was Nationwide Insurance. And they had an initiative going where whatever city the NASCAR race was in that weekend, because it's nationwide every week in a different city, they would have some of the drivers go to a high school. They would bring a racing simulator, and they would have us talk to the students there about the dangers of distracted driving and why you shouldn't do it. So we would have a kid get in a simulator, start driving. We'd hand them a phone, and we would watch all pandemonium break out as they started crashing into other cars and going all over the place. And it was, I had my moment I just told you about of my texting and driving experience, that near hit, that moment that changed my life. So I took it seriously doing it with these kids, and they're high school kids. So a lot of them thought they could do it and wouldn't admit that they couldn't. But there was this one kid I'll always remember where I saw it click with them. They were with their friends, they were trying to be cool, but there was this moment in their eyes where it clicked that, oh man, I'm actually a worse driver when I do this. And that really was the final step in this, that spark, just never ending of I want people to drive safe. I want to tell people how important this is. I want to do it. So I knew I wouldn't race forever. So I was talking to my dad about this passion that I was developing. And he said, well, why don't we go talk to your old coach Walker, who started Safeway Driving, who you learned from. Let's tell him about this. Let's see what he has to say about it. So we go talk to him in the off season, and he goes, well, I'm actually looking to retire. You guys want to buy this thing? So opportunity presented itself, and we jumped on it.
That's just amazing. And he was probably so happy to sell it to you because, as everybody can hear in your voice, they can hear the passion and the excitement. And again, you are a driving enthusiast. Who better to own, be behind the wheel, so to speak,
Mm.
or the desk of the franchise. So I absolutely love this story. What changes did you make when you bought it, and how long ago was this?
Oof. What changes did we make? What did we not change? And what we didn't change was the actual system that Coach Walker created for training in the car. But we went in there, and when you picture driver's ed, everyone has kind of the same image come to mind. Old car, beaten down, paint falling off, instructors that aren't really engaged, maybe reading a book or the paper, just you're running errands for them, and you go into the classroom and it's dusty and old and you got overhead projectors. We went in and we just ripped all that out. My dad, who went into this with me, is, I would call him a branding and marketing just genius. He ran a marketing firm for decades. It's what he did. So we went in with my driving expertise and with his business and branding expertise, and just pretty much gutted everything but the actual driving curriculum and modernized it, put in TVs, created online curriculum, and just made it a place that you wouldn't expect when you're going to a driving school. We took a driving school and made it a premium experience, which has been great.
That's fabulous. I love that your dad has that marketing prowess because it sounds like the ultimate combination, because what is the lead acquisition strategy for a driving school? Is it just focus on high schools?
Yeah, so what most driving schools go after is just their 15-year-olds learning how to drive, right? But we saw, of course, the opportunity there and making a better experience for them and their parents. But then there's opportunity with adults, with people that are over the 18 years of age, who may be moving from another country, coming from another state, or somebody who just wants help because they're nervous on the freeway. And we find now that teenagers, they're getting more and more anxiety, so they're waiting longer to get their license. When I was 15, all my friends, the day they turned 15, they're in driver's ed. They could not wait to get their license. Nowadays, we'll have 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds come through that will be honest and say, I'm scared of doing this, but I have to because I have to go and work and I need to be able to get to my job. And with our system, which has been so good for 52 years, we get them in the car and we help them build these foundational skills that just change their life and take that anxiety away.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the model because this is home based. You're not building a big driving school per se.
Yeah, the franchise model is one I'm actually really excited about. When we were looking at, how do we want to grow? Because growing was a must for me because I can see the impact that we're making in these students' lives and in actual literal crash statistics that the state of Texas provides every year. They provide crash stats for new drivers that have graduated from driving schools, and they will list out the driving schools and they'll show how many of them get in a crash, how serious are the crashes. So we have a lot of good data that shows that Safeway Driving graduates, their chances of getting in a crash are cut in half versus your average driving school in Texas. So
Wow.
when I look at those numbers and I look at this passion I have for creating safe drivers, I have to grow because I know the more we grow, the safer Texas roads are going to get. So the model we went after was franchising because we saw the value of having the owner operator that lives in their community, that has been there for a long time. Their kids have gone through schools. They have friends in the area that really want to just see their community get safer. And they're going to have the same passion for their friends, and they're going to put in the effort and the work to let people know about Safeway driving, let them know how important it is to get a good driving education. So we chose the franchise model, and it's proven to be very successful so far.
And you're just in Texas right now, but you're going to start to expand in other areas soon enough, right?
We will. The fun thing about driver's ed is it's a state by state government thing. So what it takes to get your driver's license in Texas is very different than what it takes to get your license in Florida. Now, of course, the general principles of how do you be a safe driver, that applies no matter where you are in the world. We have all that down. We know how to make safe drivers. When you come to Safeway, we have it systemized. Lesson one, you're doing this. Lesson two, you're doing this. And it builds and is proven to build safe drivers. So we can take that into any state. We've got a person on our staff named Nina, who is a driver's ed guru, who is very well respected all across the country. She's been doing it for decades. And when anything happens in the United States with driver's ed, people go to her first for her opinion. And she's helping us stay up to date with laws. So when it comes time to go to another state, she's going to be all over it. And we're going to develop the curriculum specifically for that state and keep on going.
Item 7, the investment. For those listening, in every franchise disclosure document, item 7 is the investment. What is the average range for an investment, or is it one territory? Talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'll share how our territories work. Our territories are broken out by high school attendance zones. What's great about those is the state of Texas and all other states, they have the attendance zone. If you live in this area, this is the high school you go to. So we're going after high school students. So we say, which high school do you want? When you pick that high school, we have a formula that shows how many cars need to be in that area to service that high school. So we give these zones based off of how many cars. So if you come in and you want a Safeway territory and we look at the high school you want, we say, okay, this is a 2-car zone. We know that you need 2 cars. The initial investment is $35,000 per car. And then with a little bit of opening costs there, and then off you go. So our average initial investment is anywhere from $58,000 to $164,000 to get up and running, because some schools need 4 cars and some need 1. We're finding the average is 2 to 3.
I love that. And I know in your item 19, which is the earnings claim, it's talking about your 52-year-old corporate location doing over 800,000, 825,000 to be exact. You happen to have 7 cars there. We talked about that. But it's interesting. I love the stats that you compile. Basically about 90,000 in revenue per car, per vehicle. So, and you have a franchisee, your biggest franchisee, obviously doing over $1 million, has 13 vehicles these days, which is pretty incredible. So I love the sort of the simple math of this. How big do you want to be? Question of how many vehicles you want, right? How many schools?
Yeah, exactly. And not to toot our own horn, we actually have 2 franchisees that are over that million mark now. which has been really cool to watch. They're very involved in their business and very passionate about it. And it's basically, how many cars do you have? How many kids are you, or adults are you running through the cars? And we know that it's going to average out to $90,000 in revenue per car that you have. So just like you said, do the math. How much do you want to make? We'll keep on growing.
And what is the labor like, Brad? Because everybody worries about labor these days, and how hard is it to train somebody to, you know, to do this, because the owners are not necessarily doing all this themselves. They need some employees. So how many employees does it take, to do this, and how is that training, and who are you really looking for in this employee?
Well, something I love about our model is you can literally have one person if you want. It can be the owner who's also the instructor, which we have. Or you can be an owner that is not in the car with the kids. You have somebody who's running your business, and there you have a team of 20 instructors that are out there delivering drive. So it's really, are you a football coach that wants to give back and make some more money and help the school you're at? Or are you a business guy who's looking for an investment, which is really cool. There's a whole wide spectrum there. So for driving instructors, we find that, coaches are amazing, teachers, bus drivers. It's really people that know how to teach, how to engage with a student, and are patient and friendly. Those are the best kind of instructors. And for franchisees, we have everything from football coaches that are the instructor to the business people that hire the instructors to do it. So it's really a wide spectrum of who you could be. Really, what's most important is that, do you want to make a difference in your community? Do you want to make the road safer? And do you want to make money while doing it?
So what is the difference to you? I hear your passion and your energy, and so does everyone else, but you have 4,000 franchises. I guess the real advantage I see is only a couple of driving school related franchises, and yours has been around certainly longer than anyone I know. So that's clearly an advantage, and the riches are in the niches. But what is your pitch on that compared to HVAC or a pool cleaning and maintenance company that sounds like it's fun, you're going to be outside all day? What is your thought on that?
I think all those business models and franchise availability, I think they're great. I'm of course love driving, and I love driver's ed. And what I would tell somebody if they're trying to decide between them is, do you really want to make an impact in your community, and do you want to save lives, or do you want to have this investment and make some money? And that there's not a wrong answer. What's great about Safeway is you can make a tangible difference. I mentioned those crash statistics. We are making roads safer. So do you want to make a difference in your community and make money while doing it? Then that's why you go with us. Why would you pick us over another driving school franchise? Well, NASCAR driver, driving expert. I am fully passionate about this, probably too much if you ask my wife. Not the most fun person to ride with. I point out every single thing. And what's great is, as a backseat driver, it's like, well, I'm certified to do this, but we have a bunch of experts on our staff. We've been doing this 52 years. I told you about Nina. She is plugged in with our Texas government. She's plugged in with the nationwide government. We're at the forefront of everything, and we're a premium brand. We're something that's pretty to look at. Our cars look great. They're NASCAR inspired, of course. They got big stickers on them. They're clean. They're new. There's no classrooms. You don't really need a physical location. You need some kind of office for government purposes, but you don't need a big storefront. If you don't want to do that, you can, of course, but it's really a good looking business, and it's something that you can make money while making a difference in your community. I think it's great.
So Brad, everybody's been thinking as they're listening to this, how do NASCAR drivers go to the bathroom during a race?
I hope people weren't thinking that while they're listening to this, but everyone asked that for sure. Everyone asked that. And, I'm ashamed to say you just go. You just do it. If you're racing, you've been on a road trip. you've had to go to the bathroom. It's very distracting. That's all you can think about. It takes your mind away from driving. So imagine driving and racing 200 miles an hour. You're banging door to door with guys, and you got to go pee. Like this, and it's not something that you could just do in the middle of the race while you're racing these guys. You're hitting bumps, you're going fast, your whole body's clenched. So you have to wait for somebody to crash. You have to wait for that caution to come out, get behind the pace car, and then you have to just get your legs perfectly positioned. You have to straighten out your legs and find a way to where even if you hit a bump, you can keep going, and you just let it go, and it is disgusting and very relieving at the same time.
Brad, you've been a fabulous guest. Thank you for sharing your story, and look forward to helping you grow Safeway Driving.
Yeah, thank you, Lance. It's been fun chatting with you.
Likewise.